guys, Archangel here. Do some hiking in the Laurel Highlands in southwestern Pennsylvania. I do a lot of hiking up here, try to do it every weekend. It's very serene and picturesque up here. You do see a lot of hiking up here, a lot of mountain biking. It's home to the terminus of the Laurel Highlands hiking trail. Starts in out there by the Great Gorge in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Goes 70 miles and it ends at Ohiopyle. The trail I'm going to do today is called the Great Gorge Trail. I tried hiking this trail last weekend, but with all the rain and stuff that we've been having, if anybody is from southwestern Pennsylvania, they know we've been getting hammered with a lot of rain this year. This is actually being filmed 4th of July weekend. It's actually July 5th, 2015. As you can see, the trail has a lot of mud in it. The streams and the creeks, and the Ohiopyle River is actually high. Last week I tried to hike from where the Cucumber picnic area is, then it crosses over Kentuck Road over to where I'm at right now, but the bridge was totally washed out. It was an old wood bridge. It was totally washed out. So starting over on this side, you can park at the Cucumber Falls parking area. You go down to where Cucumber Falls is, you make a left, you go over the metal bridge, and you're right on the trail. So we'll start hiking. Alright guys, as soon as you come off of Cucumber Falls, you'll come up a tiny little grade. You'll start coming down a grade, and you'll see this nice little miniature waterfall. You could pretty much say is what it is. It's all the way to the top of the hill, comes all the way down to here. You'll see a lot of these sites on this trail. You'll see a lot of these sites pretty much everywhere up here at Ohiopyle. Alright guys, another little mini waterfall here on the Great Gorge Trail. You see, you're pretty much smack dab in the middle of the gorge. Yeah, the very, very top, what you're seeing now. And then I'm going to turn around. As you see, where it flows all the way down to the Ohiopyle River. There's a lot of kayaking, hiking, mountain biking, trail running, whitewater rafting. Almost anything you could possibly want to do up at Ohiopyle, you can pretty much do. Alright guys, at the little overlook now, you can actually see that the River Trails actually meets up to this trail, and it probably about 100 yards back, it actually splits. One trail goes high, one trail goes low. You can probably see the lower trail there. I'm on the upper trail where the overlook is. You can actually see the River Trail. And this trail goes and continues on, and it actually goes up towards and meets up with the Kentuck Trail. So if you guys want to make it one big giant loop, you can. Just keep in mind it's a nice walk. Once you get off the Kentuck Trail at the Thorpe start point, you would have to walk pretty much the road all the way down to Cucumber Falls, which isn't super long, but it's a very steep grade. So basically just keep that in mind. This trail is pretty muddy right now, so I'd recommend hiking boots. Like I said, it's July 2015. If you were more into the fall where it's a little bit more dry, not so much way drier, but like a little bit drier, you could probably get through with some old sneakers. If you're coming in the spring, or as rainy as our summer's been, definitely get some hiking boots. Part of the trail so far where it meets up with the Ohiopyle River Trail, I haven't had to use my trekking poles or anything, but just keep in mind that you are out and about, especially if you're out doing this during some sort of hunting season. Just wear something very vibrant, like orange or yellow or very bright red, something like that. So just make sure that everybody stays safe. Okay, some more footage for you guys. hike in the other bike trail, which I had the All Trails app really didn't give me any good leads onto that, so I just went up a very, very, very steep hill, and I came up to the top where the campground is, and there's no other markings to where the Great Gorge Trail actually meets up with the Kentuck Trail. So I'm just going to wing it for right now, but went as far as I could without getting lost. Came back down the hill, see this little marker. Once you come down the hill from the campground, a stone's throw away, and there's a path on the right hand side, and this is the sign you'll see. Great Gorge Trail is straight, you'll see that, and the hike and bike trail, which is this trail over here, which is the one I was going and coming up. And we continue on to this trail and go back to my vehicle where Cucumber Falls is, and I might go over and hit a couple more trails. Okay, you guys get to the bottom of this hill, you'll see a little stream here. Now, like I said, we've been getting a lot of rain, so it's probably a little bit higher than what it normally is, but it's not bad. You can definitely cross it. Probably when I came up last week when we had the torrential rain and everything else, it'd probably be a little bit of a more difficult challenge to go ahead and get around it, but you can see it meets up on the other side. It's not very deep. You just have to watch yourself. Anytime you go over rocks, there might be moss or something else growing on them, but as you guys can see, it's really not that bad. We come over here and you cross another little stream. Let's see, then you come down to here, it tells you can go that way too. So it's actually a very confusing trail. The bulk majority of it's not even marked. Here when you come over Cucumber Falls, over the metal graded bridge, there's no markings at all. You'll see some green blazes on the trees, and some of it's real faded, really bad. But like I said, I came down from that hill where it said the Great Gorge Trail is, and you come down here, and this is campers only in the direction I came. So like I said, it's actually very confusing. So I'm going to go up to here. Hopefully maybe this part will actually meet up with Kentuck Trail, and then I'll just backtrack that way. Well, I hit the Kentuck Trail finally. Like I said, you'll see these little markers here, which is supposed to be everywhere, and they're not. The only thing that I've seen on the Great Gorge Trail is just a green blazer. Like I said, some of them are really hard to see, but if you want to do a huge, massive loop, you could. You could do the Great Gorge Trail, come up here, and you can hit the Kentuck Trail here. It goes through, loops up around, come back down, and instead of going back down the same way you came, you continue on to go straight. It goes out to, I think, the park office checkpoint, which I think it's, the first thing it was called Tharp, I believe. Tharp Point, maybe. And backtrack down to here. Now that would be a nice loop. I'm probably not going to do it today, only because it's getting a little bit later in the day. We're probably going to do it maybe tomorrow. But like I said, the Great Gorge Trail, it's a good trail. The only bad thing I could possibly say about it is that it's not as marked as good as I'd like it to be marked. Like I said, these plastic signs aren't very expensive. You can have a lot more of them than you do. It's marked good from here down to here at that stream, so if you go from the part of the Kentuck down to there, you'll be fine. But if you're going from, like I said, from Cucumber Falls Point on, just make sure you look for the blazes, and whenever you hit the Youghiogheny River Trail split, you really have to look for them. So once I get to this point, again, I'm going to go take another little small video for you guys so you know exactly where to go. There wasn't a lot of pictures online. I found there wasn't hardly anything on all trails. It was on there, but there was no pictures, no reviews. The map's okay, but the map only works as good as the trail markers are, so just be prepared for that, that's all. Alright guys, another trail update for you. Coming back down from the Kentuck trail side. That side's a lot well marked, other than the side that I initially came on from the Cucumber Falls side. As you can see, you come down this very muddy path down to this little intersection, and you can see there's no trail marker. So that's what kind of threw me off. If you look right there, you can see the green blaze. It's not really easy to see. That's one thing you gotta watch on this trail. I came down here and actually made a right because I was going off the All Trails map, which took me all the way on the other side of this creek you can see, and took me up a very steep mountain bike trail. So if you're coming from Cucumber Falls side and you take the high side for the overlook, you're going to come right down here, then you're going to make a left and go up that little hill, and then it'll take you all the way up to the Kentuck Trail. If you happen to take the low side and you hit the Youghiogheny River Trail, you can see that straight ahead of me. You can actually hit that, make a left, come up. It should be the first trail on your left, and it'll bring you up to this intersection. So just want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. Like I said, that trail marker isn't there at all, and some of the green places are kind of hard to see. I was up here earlier and going off the All Trails map, which I shouldn't have, but learn from your mistakes and just look for the green blazes. Some of them are really hard to see, some of them aren't. Go back up this trail and go ahead and end at Cucumber Falls. And this is the end of the journey. Take a little walk down to Cucumber Falls. As you can see, there's people down there swimming. It's actually a very nice and cool place to be down there. There's a little walking trail down there. You can take a lot of pictures, but I'll just shut up so you guys can enjoy the waterfall.